Good evening. The old galloping hooves today were at Randwick. It was spring championship day, and I suppose there were quite a few people there. Plenty of girls tripping over on the drink, but now before today, of course, after last Saturday we had a meeting we had the meeting on the long weekend on Monday, on the 7th, and of course the track it was a ghost town on Monday at Randwick, an absolute ghost town. You wouldn't believe it was a public. Once upon a time, it was the Epsom Metrop. Metrop always used to be run on the Monday, and of course the roll up on the Monday was just as good as the Saturday, but now they see who their customers are. Of course, those lovely customers who still come to the track. The 15 regulars did make it to the track on Monday, but of course all of the drinkers that they try to attract to the clubs these days, the clubs, they of course picked up their strides on Monday morning, and well, there wasn't a caser in their sky, and of course they drank it out on the weekend, so they had to go to work the next day. So no one goes to the races on the Monday. It's a shame, isn't it? It just goes to show you how many people are that do punt. And the track on the Monday, the track was good. The rail was in the normal position, and there was a south-westerly breeze blowing, and the track on the Monday at Randwick played very fair. There were leaders that won. There were runners that came from well back in the field, around them, and through the middle. And as I say, the track played very fair. We went to Gosford there were a million meetings during the week, of course. We went to Gosford on Thursday. There was no one there. It was empty. There's just no. There were 3 pros there. No one else. A ghost town. And the track at Gosford, there was a westerly, sort of northwesterly breeze blowing there, which was behind them down the straight. It could have had some effect on the leaders. When you look at it closely, I suppose there wasn't a leader to get home, but there was a runner that came off the fence behind the leader and won. And there was a runner that sat 3 wide all the way and got home, but there wasn't actually a leader on the fence to win at Gosford on Thursday. Thinking that maybe the wind could have, it's hard to say, taken a little bit out of the leaders, or maybe the inside was slightly inferior. The track was good, and the rail was normal. The wind eased towards the last 2 races to be only a light breeze. So when you're doing the form, have a look what you think about the inside at Gosford. Now, of course, we came to Randwick today, and as I say, it was the Spring Champion Stakes Day. And we saw Complacent go from the maiden to the Group 3 to the Group 1, and got a charmer from Barrier 1, but anyway, we'll get to that later on. Of course, we were listening to the radio this morning, and we heard them talking about, excuse me, oh, that Pewdy Blue. That's what they should be selling at the races, actually. I'm the only one in Australia who can get it through Putin. It's 1,000 a bottle. I suppose you might be able to sell it for 100 a nip out the races. That might be all right. Anyway, I heard them saying this morning that it's 10,000 a horse in full work when you're being floated here and floated there, and the other expenses come along. It's 10,000 a month. 10,000 a month to train an Eddie now. Well, I suppose the only way that they're going to help the owners there is to put up the prize money, I suppose, and put the prize money, jack the prize money right up, so the owners can pay the training fees, and maybe put some more racing on. You know, like during find out. We all know where they're racing every single day of the year, and except Good Friday and Christmas, of course. And what about we start having races? Well, we have got that New Zealand Lords, I suppose it starts early in the morning, the puppies over there, and I suppose horse racing. But what about starting horse racing here at 7? No one will just have to. No one goes now anyway to all these country centres. No one goes to these meetings, but put on a race meeting at 7 o'clock in the morning, so you can get the punters to have more product for them to bet on. It'll be an absolute ripper. More product. Would someone get hold of them and tell them that the less racing we have, the more the turnover will increase? They just don't understand. The figures here today at Randwick were very, very kleiner for the captains. We bet very skinny figures all day, and look, you rode plenty of tickets, but there wasn't much cash there. In the first race, on the screen, the robots are called the copper straight away. 99.8 on the screen in the first race, 96.5 in the marketplace, and this was won by the Avery multi-lateral, and the stablemate Mulliquin. I didn't hear the announcement, but they said that they were going forward today. I found out after the race that I must have missed it. It's hard to hear a lot of times when he does say it very quickly, Mark Sheen. Mulliquin's going forward today, thank you. There's noise everywhere. Mulliquin's going forward today, change for taxis. What was that? Who was it? What? Which one? You've got to ask someone, you know, did they hear that? No, I didn't hear. Terry Griffin generally knows. But I found out, I'll tell Terry Griffin after the race, Mulliquin's going forward today. Well, it led early, entirely platinum, and Mulliquin got up on the outside, and then when it came along, Diamond Jim, who was trapped wide, Mulliquin went to the lead. There was plenty of a good solid pace on all the way. The stablemate, the Avery, multi-natural, sat back in second last position, ridden by the pumper, eased to the outside, turning for home, and rounded them up fairly easily, winning by a length and a half. We put it up a 10 to 9 chance, got out to plenty of $2.40, but it started at $1.90 or $1.95. Fancy $1.90 for having $1.95 on the board. Who were the jerks who changed from the Imperial? The Imperial, we had to go to the tab. There were a couple of captains earlier on or something when they were in the bookies co-op, and they said, oh, the punters don't understand what 7 to 2 is. They know 440, 460. They don't know 7 to 2. Yeah, you know what they don't. They changed it now with like a tab. And the tab, as Mo Collins said at the time, he said all we need is just a glass fence around us now, and they'll think we're the tab. Anyway, it started $1.09. It started the 10 to 9 on after the 11:08 was given the 240, and rounded them up. Things, I suppose, even if the pace wasn't as not that they went 100 mile an hour, but it wasn't as solid as it was, it still would have won. So the captains got off on the wrong leg in the first race. The winner, if you put a hat up evens towards the finish of betting, the pros just said how much. Race 2, here we had the race for the 2-year-olds, the fillies and colts and geldings. And this was won by the opening second favourite, unencumbered, and there was a protest. The 2 picks, they weren't the 2 picks. The winner got out and started 9-2, unencumbered, after opening up 7-2, 440 out to 550. $6 was given, which you wouldn't see, and number 4, Giuliani, it was $6.50 into $5, and the opening favourite, Kokomo, it was $3.70 out to $5. Well, when they turned for home, the winner, unencumbered, was right behind the leader on the fence. On its outside was Giuliani. There was a protest when he made his move to try and come off the fence on unencumbered Nathan Berry. Hieronymus, Adam Hieronymus, tried to put him back in the pocket. They bumped a couple of times. The margin was a half a length. Everybody more or less thought it would be dismissed, which it was. The winner, even though it got out in the market, was extremely well backed all the way out. Well, the $6, well, if you gave $6, you most certainly lay it, but you could lay it easily at the 550, and when it got to $5, you could lay it as well. Taraneem, number 11, it was the best back runner of the race after you wouldn't see $8.50 given, started only about a $6.50 chance, hard to get. On the screen in this race, 102.6 and 99.5 in the marketplace. Now, very quickly, I forgot about the bias here today. Now, the track was good, and the rail was 6 metres out from the 1600 to the winning post. Now, the first race, the wind, and it wasn't real strong, but it was coming out of the southeast, and more or less when the leaders turned for home, well, they were running into it, but so were the others. But then by the time the second race came around, I didn't realise it had swung around from the southeasterly position to the northeasterly position, which is the worst position, the worst wind for leaders at Randwick coming down the side. And well, the leader in this race, race 2, was number 14, Vianetta. Well, it was a $15 chance, and it finished up running back in the field, beaten 4.1 lengths. So I suppose it was most probably affected by the wind, as was the winner, maybe, but not as much. It was directly behind the leader on the fence. By the time the third race came around, the wind was a bit stronger out of the northeast, and in this race, the bookies, did I tell you this? Yes, in the second race, 102.6 on the screen, about 99.5 in the marketplace. Race 3, let me have some more. I keep on burping, excuse me. This Pooty Blue, oh my God. It's a Gia bottle. Just the best. Now, in this race, race 3, 100.2, 100.2%, 95 only in the marketplace. These were the flux in this race. You wouldn't see it. $6 out to $7, number 2. Top one was scratched, Earnest Desire. Started only $5. Gambletown, $9 out to $10, back into $6.50. Malice was 15 out to 19. Surge Ahead, 5 out to 7, back into $6.50. Ticket Tour, $13 out to 17. Violetto, $9.50 into $8. The winner, Chateau Lafitte, it was $2.80. Now they returned it $3.30, and that was the best luck. It was 5-2 begging when they jumped, $3.50. Blind man could get it. It sailed down the outside from second last, getting the wind cover. Frederica, 17 out to 26, and Senior Council was 30 out to 51, about 95. Not worth a caser. And as I say, the favourite got the windbreak and was able to ease off their heels, pulled a bit on the rider coming down the side. He was very confident on this Father Schofield, and when they halfway up, he really went for it, and he was able to grab Gambletown. He got onto Gambletown's back. It was in front of him all the way, and he got him on the line to beat him by 0.1 of a length. The runner that sat outside the leader, Malice, it ran third, only beaten 0.8, and the leader, which ran into the wind, Vitello, it was 1.4 lengths away in fourth position. So it could have been affected by the breeze. Now, race 4, on the screen there was 101.1, about 2 less in the marketplace, about 99%, and this was the result for the captains all day. Goldstone sat back in third last position, had the hood on today, had the blinkers, had been racing fairly poorly. The wind was a little bit stiffer this race. Running into it was High on Believing, who finished up running. No, it wasn't High on Believing. It was Ivory Cognac, I should say, number 9, who was extremely well back, $8 into $6. It did run third last, beaten 3.2 lengths. I'd say it was affected by the wind. It also pulled up lame, mildly lame, Ivory Cognac. But the winner here, Goldstone, which was $26 all the way through betting. We only gave 99. It sat back in third last position and was able to come down the outside and grab the favourite, Shelford, who sat directly behind the leader on the fence, got a split turning for home, more or less had its chance, and it was only more or less ahead in at 0.2, and coming from midfield, sitting off the fence, was Maximilian, only beaten 0.4 of a length, and number 8, who sat outside the leader, Angel B, it was very easy in the betting towards the end. It ran third, and it was only beaten 0.8 of a length. So the four, only 0.8 between the first 4 when they hit the line. But the captain's getting a good result. Shelford, we put it up 280. Captains did reach for it, got out to $3.50. As I say, or I said, Ivory Cognac, the leader, was well backed, $8 into $6, and the bottom one, Turbulent Jet, who came from last, but only plugged down the running, it was $9 into $7, a little bit hard to get towards the end of betting, and Angel B, as I say, went up a 7-2 chance, $4.60, out to $6 at the end of betting Angel B. Fairly hard to lay, but it was a result race for the captains. Race 5, 104.8 on the screen, 102 in the marketplace. Now, this leader and winner, that's a good idea. The favourite, I must admit, it's no good saying and one thing and meaning another. I stood this favourite. I had a very bad result on it because, as everybody knew, it did jump awkwardly. It knuckled at the start, but it quickly booted through and got to the lead. I said, well, this is going to be running into the wind down the side, and I paid the penalty. It's only won by 0.2 of a length and 0.4 of a length to the third horse, but it was able to hold on. It drove me mad. I went out after the race. I had a look at the flags, and they were still blowing in the northeasterly direction, or they'd actually, for that race, believe it or not, changed around a little bit, was coming straight up the straight, and a bit weaker. So I should have taken, I thought it was still blowing the same strength. When you're inside, you can't tell. But it was able to get home, but I suppose it still did, or was, affected slightly by the wind, but not as much as the previous race, and I think the race after this. But anyway, it was able to get to the lead after knuckling at the start. Bookies gave plenty of $2 30 and 40 about it, and it started $2.25, and as I say, it led all the way, coming from barrier 1, sliding from about 5th position or 6th position through on the fence was Reunite, who ran a much improved race than last start, saved a lot of ground, only beaten the head margin, and after sitting a little bit wide in the run, Bomb Squad, it might have been in the right part of the track. It was 0.4 of a length away in 3rd position. The favourite, it got the cash. You could easily lay it at the $2.30, and they gave $2.40. And if you wanted to leave it there, you could have done what you liked. The second favourite in this race, Landing, who was resuming from the long spell, we put it up a $4.60 chance. Bookies quickly reached for it. The captain said, "Yes, would the owners of Landing please step forward?" When they got out to $6.50, the owners of Landing did step forward and did start only $5.50. It missed the kick slightly. It pulled badly on the rider Thomas Huey and was wide, and a little bit of use was made of it to sit outside the lead. The Stipes, I think they're suggesting that this kid goes back to, well, he's not a kid, goes back to the riding school. Well, that's completely, in my opinion, stupid. He was a bit of a victim of circumstances, and he went up and sat outside the favourite, as I say, made a little bit of use of it. It stuck on fairly well, but it was resuming from a very long spell, and I'd say it will be greatly improved if it stays sound. That was about that race. Race 6 on the screen, 105.1, about 3 less than the marketplace, about 102. Who got this race? Who won the? This was the Spring Champion Stakes. I better say the Moe Shandon. They might send me a bucket full of it over. But I tell you what, it hasn't got, this Pooty Blue has got 100 yards on it. Oh my God, it's fantastic. Complacent, barrier 1, and the way this race panned out, it got a charmer, and they were spread out, I must admit, a bit further than I thought they would be. It led on the fence. I own the lead, Equator. On its outside was Villanova. They got away at one stage coming down the side in this 2,000 metre race to lead by a good maybe 3 lengths from Hooked, who was sitting on the outside of the winner, Complacent. When they turned for home, Complacent was able to get a split in between the 2 leaders, Equator and Villanova, get to the lead, get clear, and hang on and win by 1.3 lengths. Coming from back in the field to grab second was the top weight Criterion, and the runner that sat third in the race, Hooked, right down the outside, making up a lot of ground, running third was the favourite Savvy Nature, and Hooked, who sat in the in 4th position, it plugged away and ran a good race. It ran 4th, and on its back, running 5th, was Gay's other runner in the race, Liberty's Choice. The winner got a very good run. The way the race was run, everything panned out perfectly for it. I say, if you run this race again, it would still be favourite Savvy Nature. The winner, most probably a little bit shorter than what we gave. It started $5.50, plenty of $6 given about Complacent, and I suppose Criterion would be a little bit shorter in the market as well. but the winner got the very, very soft run and got all of the breaks to win the race. Race 7 came along, and this import from Germany, Saloon Soldier, it came from last, sitting on the outside of Hoyloni, who was eased at the start and finished up running last, beating 9.4 lengths. And when they turned for home, this winner, Saloon Soldier, it was eased to the outside by the Pumper Cassidy, and it finished up rounding them up very easily at the finish of this race, and went away and won by 2.5 lengths. The wind was still in the northeasterly position, and a good little stiff breeze still. Single went around and led, pulled very hard on the rider early in the race. It went around and led, and Desert Warrior, the favourite, the Avery, it sat on its outside, gee whiz, it ran a bit of a race, this single, because it finished up running third. It took the favourite all the way down the straight to just nab it on the line for that position to grab second, and coming from fourth last into fourth hole was Asclepius, but the winner, as I say, it ran right away from them at the finish. It looks like a very dour sort of stayer to win by the 2.5 lengths, and it was extremely well backed. $12, which you wouldn't see, was given on the fence. We put it up a 11 to 1, a 10 to 1 chance, $11. It got out to the $12, $11, 11 to 1, and was extremely well backed. And at one stage, they took the $10, and it was into $9, no better. It might have got back out to the 10 towards the end of betting. Gangster's Choice, the second favourite, and the favourite by that token, but both of them were fairly hard to lay, and we only had about 102, with quite a few runners in this race unlayable. The favourite, Our Desert Warrior, we put it up at $2.40 chance, 11 to 8 the field. It got out to start $3, plenty of it. They did take it at one stage for whatever you liked, I must admit. I missed the boat. I wound the $2.90 and the $3 off, thinking I'd catch it shorter, but I was $3 again at the finish of betting, trying to lay it, and it wasn't there. And very similar with Gangster's Choice. It opened up $4.60, and at the end of betting, it was $5.50 on my board, and I found it fairly hard to lay as well. The winner, Saloon Soldier, extremely well backed, and if you gave the 12 and 11, you could easily have lost on the race. We came to the last, and they said there was 105.6 on the screen, about a good 4 less in the marketplace, about 101. And Shani Rose had barrier 3, sat midfield on the fence. When they turned for home, ridden by the brilliant Brendan Abdullah, he eased off. There was a huge gap there. He was just able to ease away from the fence, come wide and get onto the back of Queenstown, and came off its heels after they topped the rise and finished a little bit too well for Queenstown, who wasn't made any use of to get into it, the 1-1 position. It found a lovely position in behind, or in the 1-1 position behind the leaders, got past the leaders topping the rise, but as I say, Shiny Rose, who has got a good finishing burst on it, it was able to beat it by 0.3 of a length, and they got right away from the others. It was 3.6 lengths away to Porcelanus, who sat, excuse me, there's mate there. Oh my God, it is beautiful. Porcelanus, it sat outside the leader, Capital Commander, who finished up running fourth, and they did run along in this race, and the wind was still there, maybe it eased a bit by race 8. So Capital Commander, very honest horse, its run was very good, but Porcelanus, who sat on the south side, It finished up running third, but was 3.6 lengths away. The first and second got right away from the others. It came from well back in the field. The very well backed Lucky Largo, $7, which you wouldn't see, into $4.60 at one stage. There was sixes into 7-2. It got back out to start the $5, starting equal favourite with the second horse, Queenstown, and there was plenty of $7 given about Queenstown as well. The winner, we only put it up a $5 chance, 4-1 Shiny Rose, but it was quickly reached for by the captains. Got out to a mile of $7.50, the 13-2 mark, but it came in to about $6.50. Maybe $7 was still available when they jumped, and as I say, was given a soft ride and eased off Queenstown's heels to beat it by 0.8 of a length. That was about the meeting. Of course, now, all you punters, don't forget, now Hawkesbury's on tomorrow, and there's be another meeting somewhere in New South Wales for you to go to as well. And wake up on Monday morning, there'll be a couple of country meetings on wherever they're in the town. If you live in those towns, don't go to work, just go to the races. And we might, to pay all these training fees that the owners have got to pay, we've got to put the prize money up for you, and also we might start racing early in the morning. Have 2 sessions, morning racing and afternoon racing, 7 days a week, wall to wall, to pay all the expenses. It'll be fantastic. Doing a very good job, boys. Good evening.